Here I am at Herod Oriental's warehouse in Alexandria, Virginia, and this piece is just a wonderful piece. Z and I were just discussing. He says it's Turkish or Caucasian. My feeling was probably Caucasian, either Azeri Turk from Azerbaijan or possibly Azeri Turk from Georgia. So we end up with just a wonderful piece. This is not a terribly old piece. There's a date on it. We could take a look up here. It's dated 1959. Just a really nice example. Good color, good design. This design that we see in the main border, we see a reddish design on a dark blue background. This is something that if we take a look at John Wertheim and Dick Wright's book on Caucasian rugs, it seems to me, if I recall correctly, they show a Georgian pardagi, a Georgian kilim called a pardagi, with a border similar to this. It also seems to me that that rug hung in the TV area off the kitchen at Harold Kashishian's house. Harold loaned it to John Wertheim for the book. But it seems to me that it was a related piece. There aren't a lot of Georgian pardagis around, and this is very possibly a Georgian pardagi. Could equally, though, I believe they were made by Azeri Turks, so it's possibly Azeri from Azerbaijan. Thank you. Here I am at Herod Oriental in the warehouse, looking at the collection of Kilims. This one is related to one I did earlier. I think it's Georgian. I think it's a pardagi. It could be Azeri. I believe Georgian pardagis are, pardagi means Kilim. I believe Georgian pardagis are made by ethnic Azeri Turks who are in Georgia. There's quite a few of them. One of the things is I noticed there was a petition to the World Court asking for complaining of rights violations against the Azeri minorities. So I saw documentation that there was a large body of Azeris inside Georgia, so we know they're there. Azeri on one side of the Georgian border or the other. You know, how old's a piece like this? Well, you know, we look at it, I'd say mid 20th, maybe a touch earlier. You know, because it's extremely well done, you tend to think it's a little bit older. And then what do? But they come and they put dates in these. So here, let's turn this way. 1965. I probably would have dated this a little bit older than it really is. You know, until we see the dates, we don't always know. Color usage would lend towards, you know, middle of the 20th century. Just the way it's done. And this floral border could be tulips. I'm not sure exactly what it's meant to be. I suspect tulips because they generally like tulips a lot. Something about Turks and tulips. They brought the tulips from Central Asia, brought them to Turkey. We think tulips come from Turkey, but they weren't. They were transplanted in from Central Asia. You know, when the Emperor Babur conquered Afghanistan, he was made king of Kabul. And he did a survey of Kabul, and he found 16 different varieties of wild tulips growing in the vicinity of Kabul, Afghanistan. We don't always realize it. Like I said, we think of Holland for tulips. We think of Turkey for tulips. We don't realize that many of those tulips, probably all of those tulips, were transplanted first from Afghanistan into Turkey and then from Turkey into Holland. So when we see the Dutch and their tulips, we can think of Kabul, Afghanistan.